And we're moving to the matchup of D Sharp and Team Taylor's Gay, JP Salopek. D Sharp is coming in at 2-3 off a nice dub against Brandon Smith, and he's in the Eastern Conference. And JP Salopek is 3-2, coming off a hard loss, a hard loss. Uh, and now he is in the Western Conference. So we're gonna start with Darius Sharp's team. He has won by Kyrie Robinson, New Orleans, and he's in the flex. So he has options if he's in the flex, so he's fine there. Uh, who should he? What should he do with his lineup? Who should he put in the flex? Should he switch anybody around to put in the flex? What do you think?
I feel if I look at Darius's team right now, I mean you've got plenty of depth. You've got Deshaun Jackson. You could use. You got Roddy White. I mean, if you even wanted to, I guess you could put Doug Martin. But I don't feel like Doug
Deshaun
Martin's.
Jackson's coming off a plus 20 game last week.
I would honestly, I would start Deshaun Jackson. Um, I mean, he's a hit or miss. He's a wide. He's
Arizona
definitely a wide
secondary.
receiver
Arizona
too.
secondary.
Yeah, I understand. But Roddy White hasn't really done much this year.
True. Yeah.
He's had some problems with his injuries. If I was Darius, I would start Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a no-brainer. I think Deshaun's doing good. Let's see. So he's got Gio Bernard, who's actually performing pretty well. Um, he had a couple problems last week with 7 points, but the previous weeks he got all double digits. And he's got Andre Ellington, who's really coming out of the gate hot. And he got 26 last week against a Denver defense. And he's playing Washington defense this week. So he's definitely starting. What do you think about Keenan Allen and Pierre Garcon?
Well, Keenan Allen, he's definitely a wide receiver too. He should be a backup, but Darius's team isn't really that much in depth.
He's
I
playing
would
Oakland.
honestly, I would bench Keenan Allen and put in Roddy White or Deshaun
Okay,
Jackson.
I disagree with you there.
How so?
I think he needs to start Keenan at the flex, and the wide receiver spot needs to go to Deshaun. So I think he should have three wide receivers in Deshaun, Keenan, and Pierre. I think I'm going to make a prediction. I think Keenan Allen is going to get over 20 this week. He hasn't gotten over 13, but I really think he's going to come in strong this week. He's finally going to make a move, and he's finally going to perform how people wanted him to perform when they drafted him. And so I think he needs to put obviously Kyrie on the bench. What do you think about the Bengals defense coming off a -8? You heard me, -8 last week for Darius. Should he make a change? They're playing Carolina.
The Bengals defense has been a reliable defense all year. I mean, if you look, 2 out of their 4 games, they've gotten double digits. They didn't play a bad game against Baltimore. They honestly, New England tore the Bengals apart, and that's understandable. Look for them to do a lot better against Carolina. I don't feel the offense for the Panthers is anything special. I think the Bengals will go in there, probably get 7 to 10 points. You don't really have any other defenses you can go after. I would stay with the Bengals defense. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
up
got
to
on his bench. He has the Buccaneers defense. He's playing Baltimore, so I don't think he can go with them.
no, definitely not go with the
I don't even know
Buccaneers.
why he has them on his team, to be honest.
Yeah. So I was about to say that. I don't know why Buccaneers are still on his team. He should honestly just drop them.
What about Doug Martin? What do you think he's going to do against Baltimore?
Doug Martin is the most disappointing player I think in the past
Wow.
2 years in fantasy football.
Okay.
He is always projected to go
Personally,
as
personally, personally, I'm going to say Dwayne Bowe, but you have your opinion.
a well, I mean, Doug Martin has always been projected to be a top 5 running back, even a top 5 player to be picked in the past 2 years, and he honestly has underperformed dramatically.
Yeah.
I
What?
mean,
Yeah.
you look at all 5 weeks he's been in. I mean, he's only got 37 carries, 1 touchdown, not
Yeah.
even 100 yards.
Not
I mean,
even.
he's injury prone. Doesn't he shares touches with Bobby Rainey? I don't. I honestly, I would try to trade Doug Martin if you could.
So, do you think that Darius has any options? Um, Anything he can do besides obviously take out Kyrie and put in someone? Does he have anything else that he can do? I don't see anything.
Um, no, I feel like his team's pretty solid. He's got a good starting lineup.
I mean, his bench needs depth though. Jake Locker probably done for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Vernon Davis out for the season. I don't know why he's on his bench. Buccaneers defense. I don't know why he's on his bench. He needs to drop those two and try to make some trades. Try to build more depth. Pick up some waivers. But let's move on to JP Salopek, who's got Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers surprised everyone last week. Um, 3 touchdown passes, and the week before that, he got 4 touchdown passes. So he's really coming on strong the past 2 weeks, and he's playing a struggling Miami secondary. So I would look for him to get at least 25 points. What about you?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter what I think Aaron Rodgers will get. No matter what, you got to start Peyton Manning.
Okay, yeah, Peyton Manning against the Jets.
Yeah, you've got Peyton Manning playing against the New York Jets. You could easily trade Aaron Rodgers to get more depth down your line,
Peyton already had his bye, so Peyton's playing the rest of the season, all
that's what
games. And if
exactly.
you look at his games, he has a stretch where he plays Oakland, St. Louis, Miami, and then he plays Buffalo, and then he plays Oakland for the last week of the season. So I mean, he's gonna put up points out the ass. I'm saying.
Yeah, it's. I would honestly trade Aaron Rodgers away. Get that depth. Get the players you need. I mean, you look at his running backs. He needs running backs bad. C.J. Spiller and
Yeah,
Monty Ball have underperformed this year. I honestly would try to go for maybe, I don't know, uh, a running back that gets probably 19 to 25
yeah.
touches.
And C.J. Spiller has a bye week 9. Monty Ball obviously had his bye last week. Monty Ball's doubtful for next game, and he's got Fred Jackson who's questionable, so he's really struggling there. So he's really going to have to make a trade, possibly Doug Martin trade for Darius there if Darius can get that done. But JP is running out of time to make changes, and he's got to do something at his running back positions.
Well, JP shot himself in the foot giving away Eddie Lacy. I mean, I knew Eddie
Yeah,
Lacy wasn't
that yeah that
perform.
was questionable.
I knew Eddie Lacy wasn't really performing to what he should have been at the beginning of the year. But you've got to give a star running back like that some time. You can't just give him away, and especially for what he got. He didn't really get anything special.
And if you look at him, he's in the same situation as Brandon Smith. He's got 3 quarterbacks on his bench. EJ Manuel, I don't even know why he has him. He needs to be dropped immediately. Fred Jackson probably needs to be dropped. Josh Gordon obviously holding on to, but he's got to make the playoffs for Josh Gordon to even be relevant. He's got to trade Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers. I think that's a no-brainer. He's got to start Peyton Manning the rest of the season no matter what. Cam Newton has a lot of trade value. Aaron Rodgers has a ton of trade value. And he could easily get a better running back out of those two. He could even go for, the DeMarcos, the Marshans of the league. Obviously, those aren't going to happen. But those running backs, those top-tier running backs he could get with Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers, I think. Especially with teams with struggling quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, that he has to make a move. I mean, you look at his team at the beginning of the year when he drafted, he had a great team, but what he did was not very smart. He gave away some of
Yeah.
his top talent. Now his team is full of average, some mediocre
And I'm gonna
players.
go ahead and say that some of it was due to Braden Callahan brainwashing him, but that's up for a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, that's just
But
a corruption
you
discussion.
can keep going.
Yeah. Um. Well, I don't really. I mean, I think JP going back to what you said about Josh Gordon. I think JP is going to make the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be a very high seed. He used to be a powerhouse in this. He used to be a top three
Yeah, this
team.
could this could be the beginning of the end for JP as he started out 3-1, lost. He's now 3-2, and he's playing a decently competitive Darius Sharpe team, who definitely you should not underestimate any week of the
Oh no,
season.
never.
So JP should be a little worried and definitely make trades to get a running back. JP, we are telling you right now, you need to. What about his kicker? What about his kicker situation? Nick Novak and Dan Bailey. Should he have 2 kickers on his team, and should he swap?
Well, I think Dan Bailey is the more talented kicker in this situation. But I would start Nick Novak this week. He's going against the Oakland Raiders. Dan Bailey against the Seahawks. I don't see the Cowboys. I mean, DeMarco Murray's gonna
Cowboys are looking
get,
tough.
huh?
Cowboys are looking tough.
Yeah, the Cowboys are looking tough. They look like a playoff team. I I still feel like you should start Nick Novak against this weak Oakland Raiders team.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay. So there's the matchups. What about the Panthers defense, who has been struggling all year, going up against a Cincinnati team? Panthers defense, well, I guess they got 18 last week against a talented Chicago Bears team, but they got -7, -8 before that. They're very inconsistent, extremely inconsistent. Lowest -8, highest 18. That's a 20-point differential in points. What do you see them doing at Cincinnati at their stadium?
honestly, if this was my team, I would, if I can't pick up any defenses or trade anything, I would start the Vikings defense who he has on his bench over the Panthers, only because the Vikings are going against a Lions team whose quarterback is underperforming, under a 50% completion percentage the past 2 weeks. Their best wide receiver is out, most likely for this week. I would start the Vikings defense over the Panthers.
I don't know if I can agree with you on that one. I can see where you're coming from. I just don't see the Vikings doing anything. They have in their last 4 games, they have 6 points cumulative defensively. Week one's a complete fluke. I don't know what happened there. Interception return for a touchdown, obviously, but they let up 30, then they let up 20, then they let up 28, and then to a Green Bay team they let up 42 points. And you can't just do that in the league and expect to win games. And Detroit's coming off a nice win last week. Um, so, or no, they lost actually. I'm sorry, they lost. So I don't know. I think I would keep the Panthers defense. Cincinnati Bengals got to find something in order to win.
Well, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I honestly think he should pick up a defense, either
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
drop the Vikings defense or something,
Yeah.
and you need to pick up a top 15 defense at most. Some like a defense that's playing a mediocre team, a team that's not that good. You got to make a change right here. The Panthers are just not getting it done.
All right. Prediction time. D Sharp against JP Salopek. I think I am going to go. I'm going to go ahead and say that JP puts in Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to say D Sharp is going to win by. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be like 105-100.
Um, I agree with you to the point where it's going to be a close game. Again, I don't think they're going to drop 100. I don't think they're going to drop triple digits. They might drop 90. I feel JP will definitely start Peyton Manning over Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers.
Quick, get your prediction in.
D Sharp winning by, I'm going to say 20.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not.
And
I'm not going to go with the close game. I'm going to go with the long ball. D Sharp by 20, 90 to 70.
all right, there we go.